Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Die Hard Dialogue with me, Gary Vaynerchuk. Better mood this week. Jets got a win. It was a little ugly. We'll get into that a little bit later. But it's good to see my actual host and partner in crime, Jessie, back, even though I always love when Emerson's here. She's wearing glasses.
You don't have to lie, Gary. You don't have to lie. I'm just kidding.
Fine. I just like Emerson, and I'm much happier when you're here. I see you rocking glasses today. Your contacts dirty, or what's going on?
Yeah, no, I actually don't wear contacts, though I perhaps should. I was driving earlier, which is why I have to wear the glasses when I drive.
Respect.
Yeah,
Have you been?
Yeah.
We missed you last week.
I missed you too. Yeah, I was home in Virginia. I was traveling. I had to drive home to Virginia because I had to bring my 103-pound dog and he can't go on airplanes. So yeah, I was in the car for about 9 hours. So unfortunately I had to miss it, but I'm happy to be back. Happy to be back with you, Gary. And I'm glad your Jets got the W.
Thank you. Yeah, the kind of lack of enthusiasm was Zach didn't play well, and that's really the franchise situation, right? It was good to see other things work out, but I wouldn't call it a great game for Zach, and that's really what we're betting on. Obviously, the Seahawks lost, the Panthers lost, so the Jets continue on their march to 4 very early picks in next year's draft, and we had a good draft this year. We've got some rookies that are doing a lot of good work, so you kind of hope to build that way, but let's not go too much into that. Let's set up the show and set up our guests and get into it.
Yeah, so of course, we want everybody to join our free-to-play DFS Listener League for the show. This week's prize is 5 in honor of your favorite number, Gary. Troy Aikman rookie cards. And yeah, let's just jump in here and get started. Last week, obviously, the Jets got their W. You said, though, of course, Zach Wilson had a rough game. He did kind of look to be settling down at the end, though. So is your hope really for this week that he just looks like he's got his feet back under him?
At this point, it's very clear that like he's going to have a rougher rookie year, and you just kind of want to let him go through his lumps. I think listen, I still have a lot of hopes. He's 4 seconds in. I'm a big, like, Josh Allen's first 2 years are not super exciting. So I'm incredibly patient with quarterbacks. I really believe it takes at least 32 NFL games for me to even begin to be like, okay, this guy's this, like we've seen, for our former guest, what did everybody think after Robert Griffin III's rookie year, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Look, Mark Sanchez went to 2 AFC championship games in his first 2 seasons, right? I love Mark. I'm not picking on Mark or on Robert Griffin. They both had real NFL careers. I think RG3 might still be in the league. But I think what's most kind of like, man, I'd like to see this get going is the short passing game. Like the touch, those little things, it's not there right now yet. And so I hope he develops that, or that just comes around, or he gets a little more comfortable. He's a young rookie, and so that's that. But the defense played well. John Franklin Myers played his ass off. Quincy Williams, his brother, like they played well. And a win's a win. And I really actually have taken a funny approach with the Jets this year. There's no quarterback in the draft that I see the Jets taking after they took Zach, right? So that even if you're obsessed with Des Ridder or Sam Howell or the kid from Pitt or whatever you're Malik Willis, the Jets aren't taking a quarterback. So that's that. Meaning 3rd pick, 7th pick, 11th pick. I used to really root for 0-16 if they didn't make the playoffs. This year, I think it's important for the Jets to put some wins on the board, start building some of the Salah momentum, start getting some of those kids feeling good. So, and they have the Seahawks pick. And so, like, to me, it was very unusual for me on a dead season to root for a victory like I did last week, but I did, and I will continue to. The Eagles, I was setting up our last guest a little bit. Like the Eagles, made a lot of mistakes against the Giants, a lot. You don't expect them to make as many this week, and they've been playing pretty well overall. Though, missing that opportunity after the Cowboys lost to the Raiders was devastating, I think, for the Eagles on this season. And it'll be interesting to see how they respond this upcoming week.
Yeah, I mean, that was maybe the worst performance of Jalen Hurts' career, right? Like 14 for 31, 129 yards, 3 interceptions, no touchdowns. Like it was just painful to watch. But like, So are you rooting for a win this week? And do you have more confidence like because of watching the Jets win or because of watching the Eagles lose to the Giants?
Both.
Okay.
Both. But I do think the Jets offense did not play well. I don't know as of right now, maybe you know this, what's the update with, Corey Davis? He was downgraded to doubtful late. Michael Carter, I know, is an IR, so he'll miss another 2 games at least. But I think that I'd be surprised if the Jets win this week. I still think the Eagles are a superior team. I think the Giants have been playing better defensively. The Jets had a good defensive week this last week, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think a quarterback with legs is a problem for the Jets with the way they play defensively. And so we'll see. I mean, the Jets defensive line does, when they get penetration and pressure like this week, is a disruptive D line. And, I don't know. What do we have on data on this game?
Eagles favored on the road by 7. So Jets are 7-point home dogs. Total is sitting at 45. Eagles minus 280 on the money line. Jets plus 225 on the money line.
No props yet.
No, we don't have props.
Yeah. What do you think? What's your prediction for the game?
I want to go 27-17 Eagles. I just think that that was an anomaly game from Jalen Hurts. The injury report, he does have an ankle thing going on, but he said he's going to play. So I'm not really worried about that. And I see it being a bounce back spot. And like you said, I don't see the Jets pulling this one off. What about you, Gary?
I'm going to go 24-10 Eagles. I don't see the Jets pulling this one off either. I just have to see more from their offense with Zach in there. And, Eagles defense played well last week. Obviously, Giants offense is not that good. But, yeah, Jets have played better at home. I just don't see it. Yeah, I'm going to go 24-10. Michael Carter is such a big weapon for the Jets offense, even as a rookie. And I think we felt it last week, and I think we'll feel it again this week.
Yeah.
All right, let's set up our next game.
All right, let's talk about, this is arguably game of the week, right? Pats at Bills, Monday Night Football, 2 guys who I can confirm know their stuff. We got Ben Volin, NFL writer for the Boston Globe, too. So Ben, you can turn your camera on. You can join us. Hello. Thank you for being here. We have Chris Trapasso from scoutinggradebook.com. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so it's going to be a fun game. So Ben, one thing I saw you on Twitter before we started the show, I saw you were tweeting that Kyle Duggar was placed on the COVID list after testing positive. So I feel like that's big news for this game, right?
That is big news. Kyle Duggar has been an excellent player for the Patriots this year. Their leading tackler. He's got 3 picks. He's kind of the Swiss Army knife. He lines up at safety, lines up at linebacker. He can cover tight ends, Dawson Knox, big red zone target. So we don't know if Duggar is vaccinated or unvaccinated. So we don't know if he's already guaranteed to be out Sunday. But either way, even if he's vaccinated, he can come back with the 2 tests within 24 hours. But I think 5-6 days from now, that's still kind of asking a lot. So I think we could probably count on Kyle Duggar not playing today. He's actually the second day in a row. The Patriots also put J.J. Taylor, their running back, also on the COVID list with a positive test. He hasn't been playing as much lately, so not as big of a loss. But it kind of shows how around the league, they kind of heightened their COVID protocols this week after the Thanksgiving protocol. And just in the last 3 days, 18 guys have tested positive. So COVID is starting to rear its ugly head a little bit.
Yeah, we got all these new variants now, too. I can't keep track.
Well, of course you can keep track.
Yeah.
The reason we brought up the new variants is because we have a new variant.
That's true. I should write that down.
Ben, how are you?
Good, Gary. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty solid this week. Not as good after you guys beat the crap out of us a couple of weeks ago. And then I was very hot after that game that the Bills were not that good, even though they beat us 100-0. And I felt very good about that against the Colts. That played out for me. And the Saints game doesn't mean much for me because I think this current Saints team isn't that real. How are we feeling in Bills land?
Yeah, I think when the Bills face a team that either has a really good defensive line or a really good offensive line, they can be in trouble. But conversely, from what Ben said with Kyle Duggar going on the COVID list, the Bills are actually getting a little healthier. Like their rookie right tackle Spencer Brown, who was on the COVID list, missed the last couple games. He returned to practice yesterday. Star Latulele, their big kind of space-eating nose tackle that doesn't accumulate a lot of stats, but is really important to the run defense. He's back. John Feliciano was activated off IR. Now the Bills have 3 weeks to activate him to the 53-man roster. That could be for Monday Night Football. So against the Titans, certainly against the Jaguars, and definitely against the Colts, those were 3 games that the Bills were just completely dominated up front on their offensive and defensive lines, but they're getting a little healthier there.
Chris, the Bills' wins this year are incredibly discouraging. Like, listen, I'm a Jets fan, so I hate both of you guys so much. You don't even know, right? But like, you know, whereas the Patriots, who I hate more, have some wins on the board and momentum that makes you say, okay. Like, actually, like, I'm scared now. Like, God damn it. Like, this is disgusting where my life's at. I'm desperately cheering for you this week, Chris. But man, it's hard to get me, like, for me, I'm like, there's the Chiefs game. Is that the Chiefs team that, like, at the time, like, the Saints are not good with Trevor. Like, they're just not. Like, I don't know, like, listen, it's a little bit of our schedule, right, on the AFC East, but this is actually a fun game for me, because if the Bills win this game, then you're like, okay, here's, a very hot Pats team. There's a real signature win on this season. Is there fear, Chris, a little bit of like the team's not as good as everybody thought they were? Or did the Saints win kind of quickly get us back into euphoria?
I think there's still a little bit of worry, especially after 20 years of the Patriots owning the division and then the Patriots coming to town. I think a lot of people around Western New York are a little bit concerned. But what the job that the Bills did offensively against a pretty good Saints defense that wasn't missing a lot of people up front, I think the way that Josh Allen was able to not just try to hit the big play, not overextend plays, short passing game, accurate throws, completed 82% of his passes against the Saints. The way that they moved the football, I think, was a reason to be encouraged if you're a Bills fan.
What about on the defensive side? I mean, as somebody who lived through the nirvana of what was Darrelle Revis in his prime, where like you just knew an entire side of the football field was completely eliminated, this is a pretty significant loss, no?
Yeah, Tre'Davious White you cannot understate how important he is to this Bills defense. He was Sean McDermott's first draft pick in 2017. He's not just a great zone corner. He's good man-to-man. He's so cerebral on the football field, a great athlete. So it'll be interesting to see how the Bills kind of try to counteract everything that Mac Jones does in the quick passing game. Are they going to blitz more, or are they going to be afraid to blitz more because they don't have Tre'Davious White on the back end?
Ben, on that point, like, has everybody just in Foxborough settled into Mac's going to be good? Or do they think it's system? Or are they just so accustomed to things working out for them up there that they've just decided he's going to the Hall of Fame? Where are we at?
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like, generally speaking, the local reaction to Mac has been like, wow, he's been fantastic, but what a great job by Belichick in the system that he's kind of surrounded Mac Jones with. And I feel like it's more nationally, people are saying, oh, Mac should have been the number 1 pick. The Jaguars were dumb for picking Trevor Lawrence over Mac Jones. It feels like it's been bigger nationally, whereas it does feel like it's been a little more reasonable locally, where even they just had a big win over the Titans, and a lot of the conversation last week was, was this Mac Jones's worst game? Some people were saying he played horribly the other day, and he threw for 310 yards, 2 picks, and no touchdowns. So, I think the comparison to like Tom Brady is kind of obvious.
That's great. Yeah,
it's very lazy, but Mac's done a great job, and I do think
what's your read? One thing that I'm very interested in is his teammates' reactions to him. This is where I get really curious about like the nuances. Any hot takes on that?
Yeah, they love him, and it's been that way since the beginning of training camp. you watch training camp and you're asked to grade their performances, and you can tell, you can count the number of completions, but you don't really know if the quarterback's making the right read or what have you. But what I did notice was that every player was just glowing about Mac Jones's work ethic and how smart he was and how well he was fitting in with the culture. And like, that's what I take seriously when his teammates are continuously talking about how impressed they are with a young kid and how he kind of took over right away. And I don't think the plan was to start him right away. I think it was to start Cam Newton, but I think he just grabbed the thing by the horns in training camp, and Belichick felt very comfortable with it going forward. And then you have Josh McDaniels talking yesterday about just how well Mac retains information and how he rarely makes the same mistake twice. And you see it in his stats. You look at his month by month stats. September, not the best start, and the team was struggling to kind of find its identity. And then October, November, just consistently improving across the board, him and the offense and the team as a whole. So you see him get more comfortable as the season has gone along. It's been very impressive. When they were 2-4, I did not see a 6-game winning streak in their future. So he's done an excellent job. And I just think it's about, it's another example of environment. You put him in the right environment and he's going to thrive here with the Patriots.
Scores.
I'll go first. Yeah. I think I like the Bills to win this game, and I think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring than the over-under of 43.5 right now, because kind of the low-hanging fruit is this is the number 1 scoring defense and the number 2 scoring defense matching up. But it's also the number 2 scoring offense in the Bills and the number 7 scoring offense for the Patriots. Like, these teams can score points. They like to do it in different ways. I think Mac Jones is going to be able to matriculate the ball down the field. We will see a few big plays from Josh Allen, but again, last week he showed that he can be methodical too. I think we get a little bit of a higher scoring game with the Bills getting healthier, Kyle Duggar potentially being out. I think the Bills squeak this one out at home.
I do think we'll see some points on on Monday night. I'm going to take the Patriots. The Bills have never played without Tre'Davious White before. I think that's going to be a big loss for them. And you look at the turnovers. Josh Allen and the Bills have turned the ball over 11 times in their last 4 games. The Patriots are number 2 in the NFL with 25 takeaways. They've been incredibly opportunistic. It's a tough ask, I think, for Josh Allen to have a clean, perfect game against, especially the way that this Patriots defense is rolling right now. So I'm going to take the Patriots 31-27. I think Mac Jones, this is going to be a tough environment for him, but I like the way that the Patriots are playing on both sides right now, and I think they're going to keep their winning streak rolling.
So, Gary, we have a bet on the DK Sportsbook. I don't know what your score prediction is going to be, but New England and Buffalo both to score 20-plus points. If you want to say yes, it's plus 150 on the DK Sportsbook. Yeah,
I love that.
So if you think it's high scoring,
let's post that. And then for my score, I'm going to go 29-21 Bills, just because I hate the Patriots. It's in Buffalo. I feel like, unfortunately, I've not consumed this winning streak enough to really, I watched the Jets-Bills game. I've caught the Bills a lot more. And I'm really, to be frank, and Jess, this, I've been on this kick a little bit that the Bills are not as good as people think. And I think that Colts game, my brother came over, we're about to watch the Jets, and I'm like, the Colts are going to beat the crap out of the Bills today. And it was like a kind of funny take, right? The Bills beat us by 1,000 the week before. But I didn't even like the way they beat the Jets, even though it was a monumental, easy win for them. It's just like something just felt a hair, like continues to feel a hair off. I think Chris's point on the Saints defense wasn't missing all that many people. It is a good defense. It was New Orleans. And look, Josh, me and AJ's big take on my brother AJ, who I talk football 24/7 with 365, our big take on Josh is he just might be talented, so talented that it can cover up a lot of things we see. I still think he's turnover prone. I think he can be dopey at times. Like there's things like that. I just don't want to pick the Patriots. And honestly, I'm going to say it in a different way to make Patriot fans a little happier. If the Pats win this game, I'm in straight nervous land. Like Pats win this game, prime time in Buffalo, call it any of the scores that I've heard here, I'm going directly into motherfucker, they're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, is Bills Mafia is the environment just gonna be crazy on Monday night, Chris?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's going to be
a
nuts.
hostile
It's going to be
crowd.
nuts. There hasn't been a whole Monday night game in Buffalo with fans since 2018, which was also against the Patriots. And I have a lot of friends, family members that are all going to the game. I think the environment will certainly, like Ben was saying, a tough test for Mac Jones. Like, he's won some pretty solid road games, but it's a whole different animal Monday Night Football in Orchard Park.
Yeah.
All right, Jess, why don't we get your score and get out of here? We got 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm going 24-20 Pats win.
Over.
We all like the over, though. We all like the over.
Yeah,
We all like the over on that. We're gonna boost that.
We're boosting this over, boosting both teams over 20.
Over
I
20.
think that's going to happen. I do. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Excellent work. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining
Thank
us.
you, Chris. Thank you, Ben. Good
Yeah,
luck.
thank
Have a
you.
great
Thanks, guys.
holiday.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Jess,
guys.
give us the disclaimer so we can get out of here.
Yeah, obviously
That's
lines and odds subject to change. Please check the Twitter and check the odds boost, which is subject to change. Make sure you join the Listener League. 5 Troy Aikman rookie cards. It's gonna be great.
Love you.
Love you too.
See ya.
If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in Illinois, Indiana, New Jersey, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wyoming. 1-800-522-4700 in New Hampshire and Colorado. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Idaho. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-800-532-3500 in Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. Call and text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789 or call 888-789-7777 and visit ccpg.org/chat for Connecticut. Available to play in Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia only. Must be 21 years or older or 18 plus in New Hampshire and Wyoming. For entertainment purposes only. No results guaranteed. Void where prohibited. Eligibility restrictions apply. See www.draftkings.com/sportsbook for full details. Odds and lines are subject to change.